Hi, this is Paul Kidd, president of V2G Energy, and I would like to talk about electric vehicle grid integration, the results of an alternative fuel incentive grant project, which we just finished, funded by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. And I'd like to cover our objectives and goals, the results we got on local integration of EV charging with water heating to increase revenue, results on local integration with solar to provide resiliency, network experience with real-world EV drivers, of which we have a lot, and near-term commercialization opportunities. The objective of the project was to demonstrate an innovative and comprehensive implementation of EV to grid integration to act as a launchpad for a profitable business. And the first goal of this project was to develop and demonstrate hardware and software to integrate electric vehicle charging with other major electric loads in a building or residence to create a significant remotely controlled load. And this will enable valuable frequency regulation and demand response services, which I'd like to discuss in a later presentation. And equally valuable demand charge management, security monitoring, and grid outage resiliency, which I want to discuss in this presentation. I'll start with the accomplishment of integrating with loads, other loads in the building. We demonstrated integration of EV charging with water heating and heating, ventilating, and air conditioning loads. It's technically possible, practical. But it still requires tens of thousands of installations to make a viable business with single-family residential customers. So for us, it wasn't a great immediate business opportunity, but we filed a provisional patent on an innovative EVSE adapter module to allow control of hot water heaters from EVSEs to increase the revenue that you can get. Integration of EV charging with buildings. We demonstrated integration of EV charging with the building energy supply, AC coupled, to provide backup power in outages from a Nissan Leaf. In other words, if the power goes out, you can draw power from the battery in the car and keep things going. Via an innovative, low-cost, bidirectional linkage, and we demonstrated this technically, filed a patent which got published just recently. Accomplishment of integration with solar photovoltaics. We also demonstrated integration of EV charging with non-grid tied solar PV, DC coupled in this case, to provide resiliency in outages. We designed, costed, and tested a packaged product to do this. We have a beta test system permitted and installed in a private residence last year. And we're pursuing now solar workplace charging with the same technology. Again, we filed a patent application published just recently this year. And networking electric vehicles. That was a major objective of ours. We recruited a group of participants. It grew to 20 plus EVs. We supplied them with ENELXX JuiceBox Pro 40 EVSEs, linked them over the JuiceNet to a single dashboard, and we could present data in a useful format and combine it with PJM LMP wholesale on energy pricing to test various operating modes. And the major thing we were focusing on was EV demand charge management. By the use of the time of use feature of the JuiceNet, we can manage the charging behavior of a network of EVs or parts of it, can delay the charging from the peak hour plug-in time to off-peak energy minimums, and it enables the growth of the EV load at minimum cost to the grid and to the customer. It enables management of demand charges to commercial and industrial customers, which otherwise are prohibitive. And we filed a couple of provisional patents on this application. I can demonstrate what this looks like. This is just what happens when you let people plug in and charge whenever they want to. And typically, as you expected, they all come home at 5 or 6 o'clock at night and plug in just when you don't want them to, because it's on top of all the other peak loads in the afternoon. However, with the time of use feature, we can shift the load from 5 p.m. when you don't want it to 3 a.m. when it's perfectly okay. And thereby cut down the demand charge, level the load, and do a lot of good. And a major part of this is a service that we can provide to the utility industry. Electric vehicles represent a massive new market for electric energy. We're shifting from the petroleum industry to the electric utility industry as the energy supplier for all personal transportation, and that's a big shift, big opportunity. And electric vehicles represent a massive electric storage potential. If all the vehicles, light-duty vehicles in the U.S. were electric vehicles, you could run the whole U.S. economy off the stored energy in the vehicles for a whole day, 24 hours. You could shut down all the other generations. So this is a big deal. And networking can integrate, manage, and monetize this storage capability, and that's part of what we're trying to do. And we subcontracted with our curtailment supplier, Customized Energy Solutions, to explore these opportunities. And they gave us a report on the Pennsylvania energy market, how you can participate, licensing and reporting requirements, renewable portfolio standard requirements, and all the other requirements. This presents an opportunity with control of the EV charging time, which we have. The network manager can bid for a known load at a known time in the day-ahead market. And at off-peak prices, this is normally going to be less costly than the average kilowatt-hour bill rate for a load-serving entity, the guys who actually provide energy and bill the customer. So there's an opportunity for energy arbitrage. You can buy it low and sell it high. And the network manager, acting as an energy broker, can sell the energy at a profit to both parties. And the legal requirements to act as a broker are not prohibitive. So this is a near-term business opportunity. I'm going to talk a little bit about real-term EV energy use as we have observed it. EV owners are very variable in their use of energy. Approximately half the network are heavy users, and some of them are very heavy users, the equivalent of 8,000 miles driven per month. And I don't know how they do that with an EV, but they do. This is a typical month, and you can see some of our users didn't use any. Some of them used a lot. And if you look at it month to month, the total use is somewhat variable, but the individual use is very variable, and the high users are high. And this continued into 2019. Half of our members are users, half of them are heavy users, and the average use was equivalent to 29,000 miles driven per year, and that's a lot. The other aspect of this is services to the grid, and again, CES gave us a report on the PJM market and what the opportunities are, what it takes to participate in the general market, energy market, regulation market, and synchronized reserve, which I'd like to discuss later. Participating in the day-ahead market. And the segments, the major segments in the PJM service market are demand response, and this is split into the energy market, in which you get paid energy for the energy that you supply during emergencies, and the capacity market, in which you get paid for being able to respond in emergencies, and in ancillary services, getting paid for day-ahead reserve power. The energy market is not real attractive. It's very lucrative if it happens, but it rarely happens. You can sometimes go a whole year with no energy emergencies at all and no income. However, the capacity market is definitely lucrative if you can participate. Negawatts of demand reduction are just as valuable as megawatts of generation and can qualify for capacity payments. But it requires separate metering. It requires proof of capacity reduction. Now, you got to prove that you can do this because PJM has been burned. And unfortunately, EV charging is not well suited to this market. We can guarantee a load at a given time, but we can't really guarantee load reduction at some unspecified time, so it doesn't really fit very well. It could be pursued once we get established in other markets, but for now, it's not a great opportunity. So in conclusion, the near-term opportunities that we see are demand charge management, where we can control the time of charging to avoid expense and create value. Integration with water heating, we have an innovative extension of the EVSE to amplify demand charge management by increasing the load and increasing the revenue. Energy arbitrage to further monetize the savings from demand charge management, and solar resiliency and workplace charging. So that's our story for this part of the presentation, and for more information you can contact me at the email address shown here. Thanks very much.